Doing well. It's Friday night charts. I did put a message in the group, regrettably, about looking at some alts. There were some good ones in there. There were also some just absolute dog shit coins. So don't be offended if I call whatever you asked me to chart trash, and we'll go from there. Because if it's something that got shilled to you from someone like Crypto Mason, like XYO, the chart's absolutely horrendous. I don't even got to pull it up, but we will, and we'll look at it and we'll talk about it. So cheers, guys. We're starting this one off real strong. We're just going to go straight for it, full bore here, and we'll jump into the charts. And so let's go ahead and do so here. The first one I have up that was on our list was Matic. Let's talk about coins that matter, right? And let's make sure that the chat is working as well. There we go. What's up, Matt? And there's 8 of you in here, so I don't anticipate this will be too long. At least I'm not planning on being here too long, but we are going to do this for, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So Sheik is here to cause chaos. Good stuff. So Matic coming into a completion zone here. Again, 0.5 fib of your overall pull right here above. Gold pocket is above this, so you have to be aware that if this bat pattern does not play out, meaning that we don't see a reason to take a short here, you have to be ready to let this run above the X pivot at $1.75 and maybe be looking for this gold pocket here. So not a guaranteed short by any means, but things are playing out quite nicely on Matic. Still looking for $1.58, $1.57 or so. We might look at GRT. The ones in the title are the ones that I will be focusing on because those are the ones that were requested and the ones that we'll just be spending the most time on. So if we see a rejection here, like I said, we're looking to take this back down to the B leg where the range started, and this is where that will be. I know it is Friday. Trust me, I'll be honest with you, Sheik. I don't actually want to be here tonight, but I'm here. So you guys are in for a treat. You guys are in for some a great personality this evening. Let's take a look at Filecoin, another one with an absolutely garbage chart. Been calling this one garbage for a long time when other people were saying it was going to pump. I was saying it was going to go from $20 down to $5, maybe lower. And so it did. That was a video from February inside the group. It's a chart build video. So that's a fun one. I know a lot of people are bullish on what Filecoin does. I'll be upfront with you guys. I don't look into any of that. The fundamentals of these coins don't actually matter. The only thing that does matter is the chart. And the chart's going to tell you everything you need to know. Where is Filecoin? Because I know we've looked at this speculative, altruistic technology. All right. Filecoin has a super nice website. That's all you know. Yeah, the chart build, I need to do more of those. I was going to do one where I requested you guys do chart builds and then evaluate them. I'll be upfront with you. Probably not going to do that. It's just, that's way out of the scope, but we had a nice upward sloping trend line here. You can see it's come back to it. You're still riding that trend. This was the buy zone for Filecoin. All right. So what we were looking at was you had this resistance and support right here from February, right? You can see we're all the way back here. People were like, what are we going to do? Well, if you give this level up, you're heading down to the 2020 12M key level between 529 and 237. That's where we have landed. I did not trade this, even though it would have panned out very, very well. The low did go beyond that, though. The low was 237. So pretty nice. Well, I guess 297 is about where the box is at, but it's, it's 30% beneath. But at that point, this thing's down 99%. So who cares? You don't really have a level of interest on this one for quite some time. I'd be looking for 978, maybe even a re-challenge of 1135 over time. However, I wouldn't be buying right now. You have to crack $11. Main reason being is if you come back to the daily here, that's why we mapped it out to begin with. This is going to be about where the range settles up. What is this? The annual VR? Did I cut this one off? I did. How about that? I did cut off at least the annual VR. Let's go ahead and get a quarter one in here. Let's see what she looks like. Yeah, you're well outside the value area on that. If we go from a market structure range, Yeah, you're outside the value in that. So realistically, you've got some levels here. You're coming into one right now here at about 843. Right, we could take a look and say that 842.8 cents, or I guess 842.8 is a level, but in reality, I would just mark this local high right here before you get to this weekly level at 978. I would just say that this is probably the zone that you want to be in, and that you're probably heading to over time. Me personally, the juice is just not worth the squeeze on this one. You've got no real reason to just FOMO in right here. So if you're looking for an entry, I would be patient, wait for a range to set in, meaning that you could be seeing a larger range like so, right? And you want to buy at the bottom half of the range, not the top half. Very, very simple on Filecoin. What it does in the future after this, I have no vested interest in, nor do I care. Just no care at all for a coin that looks like this from $240 down to $2. This is a Christmas tree pattern. It's going to have a really nice run up, maybe even as high as like $20, $30, $40. But this is one that I have I even have notes on this. Only valid. So weekly bullish divergence that everybody was talking about. And I bring this up because there's a specific YouTuber and TikToker, Crypto Weatherman at the time. I think he's changed his name. Weekly bullish divergence. It's only confirmed if the low is confirmed. Defending 2021 yearly low needs to regain the 12M open. If 2021 low and 12M level are SR flip, we will likely see all-time low demand zone, which is right here. This is your all-time low demand zone. There is your 2021 low and 12M level at $20.639. It's like you can't make it up. Those notes are from February of last year. So this is a year-old chart. Pretty spectacular. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really looking for this thing to do anything on a macro level. If it pumps, it's going to be because Bitcoin pumps. I don't think this is going to do anything special on its own. You're better off just charting Bitcoin and buying this to get a better percentage gain than you do with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is not going to net you the same percentage in spot. So I would never leverage trade this coin. I don't know if you can leverage trade this. I hope you can't, but I'm sure that there's an exchange out there that's willing to lend their dollars to do it. So if that's the case, go for it. I will say that this last local high right here and this value area high is somewhat important. If you lose $6.92, I'd be looking back down to probably the top of this box, right around $5.49, maybe lower if you break below that, and then you're re-challenging the lows, which isn't the end of the world because you're already at the all-time low, basically. So that's where demand is coming in historically, and you can see it's done these things before. So yeah, that is Filecoin for you. Next targets are 951 and 978, and I would be very interested in potentially even shorting that area if I was somebody in this coin. Hello, Lola. Good to see you. What is the next coin? Theta. Theta is a popular one on TikTok. There's a few influencers, that's what we'll refer to them as, that like to say Theta is going to do big things. I actually don't know what Theta does. So you guys are getting the unbiased version of every chart. I don't care what the coin does. I don't know what it does, nor should you know what it does, because strong fundamentals are relevant and are shown in charts. If it's a strong coin, and I have lines on this chart from somewhere. Look at this. These are, how old is this one? Good Lord. Well, you have a really clear zone here of support and resistance that lines up nicely with that $1.91 straight away. You can see this is where you've set in your bottom range right here. So one would be looking to come back and eventually back test this $1.91 region. Really not much relevant until then. I can honestly say, though, that again, this is when the market is hyped up, guys, and everything's running, because look at the timeline of this. We don't even have to look at the price action. Just look at the timeline. Bitcoin's making all-time highs in December of 2020. What is this coin doing? It's running with Bitcoin. So If Bitcoin's running, things are going well. When Bitcoin re-enters something like a bull market, we can look for these coins to perform quite well because they have low market caps, right? And there's a lot of, what Max referred to today is, I'm going to call it dumb money, and anybody with any kind of a bag can start to move this thing. So it all becomes speculation and hype. This is an absolutely atrocious chart. I don't expect it to ever reach its all-time high again, honestly. This might be one of those like you saw in 2017, because I come from that era where it made a low and it makes a high, but not a new all-time high. It never fulfills any of those dreams that people had that when they invested in it or got sold on. So for me, when I look at this, it's a completely inconsistent. I'm sorry, this is like some Eric Crown analysis from like circa 2018. I think he felt my frustration. This is a chart that is just awful. It is one of those where unless it gets back above $1.91, like there's really nothing to talk about here. And that's really the next relevant level until you go into price discovery back down to the all-time lows, which, may or may not come at least anytime soon. So Theta, yeah. These are psychedelic says dumb money here. Trust me, there's more of it in the space than you think. I'm probably going to be a little rude on this stream, and I'm not meaning to be, guys. I'm just going to be very blunt with you. This is how I got introduced to the market in 2018 when I started trading. It was, 2017, but 2018 is when all this was kind of going down, where the market was heading down. And a lot of these altcoins like NEO, EOS, Litecoin, all these charts, everyone was like, oh, it'll be fine. The market's going to turn around. We're going to go back to all-time highs. And I just look at these altcoins, and you got to think, how many altcoins are there right now? Can you really expect that these altcoins are going to return to all-time highs? What you should be looking for are the new hyped coins, unfortunately. Otherwise, you're just a bag holder in this large move down. And then it gets to the point where you're like, okay, well, I'm down like 80, 90, 95, 99%, depending on the coin. Do I sell my bag? I mean, it's almost pointless to. You have to wait for a pump. You sell on the pumps, not the dumps, right? So Theta, at some point, Theta is probably going to go retest $1.91, especially if Bitcoin's putting in a low. And if it breaks this, we can actually start making like real progress towards an actual target. And if we got to the monthly time frame, not to just like shit on these coins and do any actual analysis, look at that. There you go. So there is your monthly time frame, and you can see this is also a monthly low over here. So you can see straight away getting away from this. And we'll go back to the daily, and I'm going to adjust this 191 now. And I don't mean to take my frustration out on you guys. I normally don't handle alts for this reason. And this was my MO before anyway, was I don't like alts, and there's a reason why. And this comes down to bear market stuff, because alts just perform terribly. And everyone's always in love with the project. They're like, no, the project does this. So I'm like, it doesn't matter what the project does. It's about to go down 90%. Enjoy. And it may never recover, because these guys don't actually do anything. They're just selling you on an idea of things they might do. That's realistically what this is. So it's all hype until it's not, right? And when it's not hype, it's represented in strength in the chart, and these just aren't showing strength. So you've got this monthly demand zone right here. If we can get above this monthly demand zone, or supply zone, I should say, rephrase that, from this old monthly wick low here, these monthlies right here that have been settled up, and you can see it was resistance, and now you're reapproaching it. One would expect you to rotate this box at a minimum up to $1.55. That's a good 31 cents away. It's not a bad move. However, I'm still looking at this $1.78 region, and I bet there's a quarterly high there. Certainly is the Q3 high from 2022. I would expect to, if you can flip this box, probably take this high, and then we play the game of, can we get through the Q1 low right here at $2.27, right? That's where I'm looking to after that. And you can see this is a good settle up point right here. So you can see now I've outlined the range. So essentially $1.78 precludes another 50-cent pump up to this level. And then we just take it level to level from there. But I think that's getting ahead of ourselves. Realistically, what you need to see is market structure remaining bullish, which at the end of the day is going to come down to most likely this low here at 98 cents. So assuming Bitcoin is not nuking and we can actually reach like the yearly pivot and we're not heading back to like $15,000, $16,000, I would expect that move to the upside to eventually play out because I expect higher prices on Bitcoin, right? Now, Bitcoin going sideways isn't a bad thing either for alts. It's not necessarily always a bullish thing either. It just kind of depends on the market dynamics. And if Bitcoin is going sideways after a long pump and not dumping, typically money rotates into more speculative things like altcoins, and you can expect them to have nice runs up to their resistances, which, is still a fair amount of, price away. It's just, I wouldn't be buying here. I feel like you had to have had this area mapped out previously. But even if it does, it's still another 40% away. So if you're in this one already, you are approaching resistance right here, as you can see. So if you got a good entry, why wouldn't you lock in some profits? But that's just my take on it. So that's how I'm viewing Theta for now. I don't look at the RSI really. I'll be honest with you, OC. I think there is value in the RSI. I think there's value in almost every indicator, and there's certain ways to use them. I particularly don't use them too much. I've used the RSI to invalidate a lot of people on the way down when they're like, we have this bullish divergence. Like when everyone said that we had bullish divergence at, I think was it the weekly or the monthly chart on Bitcoin? My comment was, you realize that in order to confirm bullish divergence on the RSI, the problem with the RSI is it's a lagging indicator, meaning that market structure is always going to front run the indicator in this instance. So the moment you confirm a low confirms the bullish divergence, or vice versa. If you confirm a high, the bearish divergence will play out. So you have to have a good grasp of market structure. And unfortunately, the high time frames can be quite discrepant, meaning that the bullish divergence that could have played out on Bitcoin when we bottomed in January of 2021, you had to get back above 47K to confirm a bottom. But we were bottoming out at like 33, almost like 33K, a little under it. Like, I mean, that's a 50% move, but the higher the time frame, the wider that gap becomes. So if it's a daily, I mean, yeah, it's more actionable for sure. But no, I don't personally use it myself. I have it up because we have some RSI guys in the chat, in the group, and I will post occasionally a few nuggets on the RSI, but doesn't mean that you can't use the RSI. It's just not my preferred method. I would prefer market structure over anything in context. But that's not for everyone. Indicators are kind of like a crutch, and I think they also can kind of like be a double-edged sword though, because then you become reliant on them and you don't learn the things that you should about how to like read a chart properly. But yeah, and Raymond, you are correct. Everybody talks about the project. I've been shitting on this idea since 2018, that when people talk about these, I'm like, listen, when it's time to buy altcoins, it's time to get in altcoins. These things are going to run hard. However, the ones with the best charts and the best history, those are the ones I'm most interested in, mainly because they give the most definitive bounces. Like Polkadot, for instance, who knows? Polkadot may never return to $50. It went all the way to $4. Here's what I do know about Polkadot. That I had a really clear quarterly SF or quarterly NPOC from all the way back here in like 2020 that I was able to trade, plus this level beneath at 419. And I knew I was going to get to trade this heavily to the upside and probably more than 100% my bag over time. So for me, that was just a very easy play. And I was like, okay, this is a safe play. It's a big cap. I can get size into this trade. I can do, some pretty extensive analysis on it. That's why I like trading these. And they do have a little bit better reputation than, like some of these other coins, like we can go to XYO, for instance. Like that was one that was requested. I know I have a chart on that somewhere. I just saw it. It's at the bottom. I was just going to put it in and just go to the first chart. This is going to be a really unpopular video, just so you guys know. People are going to be shitting on it in the comments after you guys are gone. They're going to watch it back and be like, this guy's an asshole. So we're going to swear a lot tonight, is what it is. So XYO, you can tell I have not looked at this chart in a long time. Number one, by the colors. The last level of support that I had right here marked was this level here. And basically the reason it's marked is if you lose this level, you're going into price discovery to the downside and you're probably going to make a new low. What did you do? You made a new low. and you've done nothing of significance since, other than straight away, look at this. You can see it better in log scale. What is significant about this structure right here that you can see? Anybody? I'm going to give you a minute. Well, I mean, and I feel bad giving the tough love DYOFR because we're at the bottom kind of, so like a lot of these things are in for bounces. Like they really are. It's just, would I trade them personally? Probably not. The reason they're in them is because some influencer put a fucking video out and was like, oh, the most likely coin to 10x over the next 90 days is XYO. Like that's a real video that's out there. I guarantee it. So that's why I don't like these, because I don't want to be on the other end of being like, oh, we did TA on this coin, it didn't play out, and it's like the super low cap like coin with a terrible chart that's been nothing but straight down, right? Like that's not a good chart. Like in no way, shape, or form is this a good chart. I mean, the theory behind it is it can only go down for so long, right? That's what people are going to say, is how far down can it really go? Well, it can go to zero, man. Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, lower highs, yes. That's a good takeaway. I'm looking at this. Let's make this brighter so that everybody can see it. What did we do? Outside of this local high, we had all this price action from August of 2021, and you've come up and swung fail all of them. Like, that's not a good look. You know what else did that? QNT. QNT did that at $319. I'm not saying QNT is a dead coin. I'm just saying, like, this is what happened to QNT after it did that. And so this is where context comes in. But QNT is one. I actually put the video out on this when it was happening, and I was telling people that it's probably going to go to zero, not zero, but like, I think I said like sub $200, and it was trading up here. Dude, I literally got people telling me that if they could find my address, they would send me a bomb threat. Anyways, this is your swing failure pattern up here. You took all the local highs and then just nuked. Very similar pattern to what we just saw if we go back and we look at XYO. Took all the local highs, and now you're down. Like, how far are you down? You're down bad. You're down 52% at one point. Like, if you're a shorter, that's a great trade. That's an amazing trading opportunity if you can short. But I don't know if you can short this anywhere either. But it reminded me of QNT because I saw that. It's been a while since I've seen one that is that clean. Now, it does give you something on the chart here, guys. So straight away, we have a local market structure here. You can see you've got a really big run up. Like, this is a pump and dump. Okay. So you now have this low here. Essentially, we're looking to hold this low around 0.005 cents, so half a penny. You don't hold that. There's really nothing standing between you and a new low. If you look at it, there's nothing down here. This is all new price action. So you're in what's called price discovery to the downside if you start losing a half a penny. There's no point in dollar cost averaging into this. You wait for strength. That said, if it can put in a range between half a cent and 1 cent, essentially this area right here on the chart, if we can put in a range here, that's constructive. Okay. Why is it constructive? Because you now have the proverbial higher low and higher low, right? And then we can take it up. Okay. So that's what you're looking for on this one. You're looking to see this hang on to half a cent. If it comes down below half a cent and bounces and then reclaims the level, you trade it back to this. This is going to be your new target. All right. That's clear as day. That's our new target. That's how you're going to trade that. You break out of this level though, and the only thing you got to be aware of is the levels above you, and we'll mark those out real quick. Ah, shit. The brush always gets me. Oh man, you even have like a nice monthly. Yeah, this is. Oh my God. Look at that quarterly candle. It's so bad. All right. I was hoping to get a little bit better chart than that, but beggars cannot be choosers. Oy vey. you really just don't have any relevant market structure up here until there. So we're going to go out to the weekly for it. So yeah, if you break 0.01019 on a convincing closure, I do think that there's a good chance you'll run to this level here. And I'm going to get rid of this one. I think there's a really good chance that it doubles. You have to get above this level though. So we're going to drag this over. You know, we have to see the market moving well, meaning that Bitcoin has to be moving well. And if so, you can see what you have here. So you see what I'm talking about with that 5-cent level we were just working off of. Okay. Or that half a penny. It's not 5, it's half a penny. Right. So you guys now see how this works out. So we need to see this area of the chart holding support. And then if you break this, I would target a new high first. I would honestly just mark the new high at 0.016, and then I would mark my next level up here at 2.2 cents. And these would be how I would take my profits on that. I would be looking at it like so. Zero volume work needed. That's what we're looking at. However, if you break down below this level, you're probably coming all the way back down to the low at 0.003. The Mason crew. It's just, so here's the thing. This honestly, now that I see the local setup, this isn't that bad because you have clear invalidations. Now that we've actually looked at the chart, we've slowed down, and you guys have kind of I've come out of my like piss poor like mood, so to speak. I just, you guys get what I mean. Is like when it comes to trading, like I am kind of particular about some. I don't like dabbling in like low cap alts. It's not my thing. I'm just not a fan, but it doesn't matter. It's not what I want to do. It's, you know, you guys asked for the chart. So the chart is, these are the two supports and resistances that matter the most as of right now. Locally, you definitely have a range going on. If we pulled like a yearly range on this, especially, oh yeah, I moved that over to here. It's very clean for the first on over. You can see that you're battling with the point of control right now. So odds are, if you can get through this level, if Bitcoin doesn't just dump, you can come back to the value high and then maybe challenge into that 1 cent region again. That's where you're looking to get to. The analysis stands. This very well could be the first high or low. Then what do you need to see? A higher high, right? There's our high. Where's our next resistance after that? And then et cetera, et cetera. In terms of the Mason crew, I don't mean to throw any shade. It's just, you know, that's his bag, dude. Like he likes to dabble in that style of trading and investing. And it's a very, it's a boomer bust thing, man. It's boomer bust. It's gambling. So you can only put in what you're willing to lose, literally. Like, you know, it's not like trading where I say you can only control how much you lose. In that instance, it's like you put in what you're willing to see go to zero. It's not like true risk management, unless you're actually calculating a percentage of your capital and putting only that percentage in there, because you know that the odds of that going to zero are more favorable than it normally would be on another asset, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to happen or it's more favored to happen. It just means that the statistics on it are probably higher on this venture than they are on other ventures, right? So that's how you would view that, in my opinion. But yeah, otherwise you're sitting above, you know, support, which is always good. You could come back to it, and if you do, like I said, half a penny is where you want to see it holding. Let's have a look at the other one that's on the list. That's Litecoin. So we're going to roll through quite a few of these tonight. We're going to get through a lot of them. That's the goal. How many altcoins can we look at? Finally, guys, what did we say? What did we say? We would tap this box if we were patient, and we were so upset, or I was anyway, that I front ran it by like $1.50. And there you go. There it is. That makes me feel good. Everyone else should feel good too, because if I feel good, everybody feels good. No, I'm kidding. But again, support right here, support and resistance, support, resistance. What happens if we break through 112? You're going to probably come up to 146, right? You're probably going to make your way up to, and I boxed it off for you guys so that way it's a little bit, are these monthly candles? How did I do this? I think these are quarterlies. actually. Yeah, these are quarterlies. It's an old SFP and this low. Yeah, I just marked off a quarterly SFP and a quarterly low for this box. Gets things really, really well. You get above this level, where do you go? Boom, 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 boom. Very, very simple. Let's see where the support is at. I've had some very basic supports lined up for this one. November high definitely being defended. That's good. I would say the November high is still probably your key support. You really don't want to break down below $83 right now. Just looking at market structure with where we're at above the range. Yeah, 83 bucks. Like we're going to move this up. It used to be that you had to be holding on to some of these levels, but if you start breaking a little bit below 83 here, I'm going to be looking down closer to like 64 potentially over time, and things don't look nearly as nice then, right? And then let's see if there is any kind of a volume range that's relevant. I imagine we're well above it at this point. Yeah, we're well above it. And your POC is all the way down here at $53. So yeah, you break below 83, that's chink in the armor for sure. Anything below 73, which is the next level right here. And I think that there's a high probability that you could find re-entry into this range and actually come all the way back down to like 53 bucks, which would be very, very interesting. Where was that POC? I bet it's really close to this. It's pretty close. Close enough. Oh, we're on log. In linear, this is very clean. Yeah, $64. So I kind of stand with what I said before. If you lose 83, I'm looking for this gold pocket in the $64 region first. I actually think that that's the play. It's a back test of this range. So that's a ways away. You're at 101 right now. So remember, we can still push more into this box, take the May highs, which are still untaken, right? So we still have not taken the high from May, which would also be your Q2 high, if I recall. Nope. Definitely won't be. So looking at this from here, May highs still need to be taken. So I think we get another push. If we get that push, keep an eye on 112. You break 112, you've got a road up to this like 140 to like 146 zone. And anything above that and things are really good for this asset. So you can see anytime that you're above 146, good things do happen, right? Good things happen. So at a minimum, you're looking at 247 usually. But that's like well and far away. But we are in pumpy territory. You can see what happens when we come out of these regions. You can pump all the way to 146 and then come all the way back to support. So it's, again, this is why we take profits along the way. You got to pay yourself a little bit until we're in that confirmed hype bull market after the halving, in my opinion, in most days. Let's take a look. We had some in the chat that I saw that I was going to look at. So XYO, not a bad chart actually by Raymond. It's not a bad recommendation. Might not get to hit coin tonight right way. I like how you put the $ sign for shitcoin. That actually made me laugh. Let's take a look. MKR has got good history. I know that for sure. I always tell you guys what I'm drinking. I'm having my beverage on stream. Is the it's Boulevard Brewing, Southwest Boulevard lager with salt and lime. Not normally my cup of tea, but it just sounded refreshing, so that's what we're going with tonight. Ditch the Moscow Mules for once. So okay, I thought I had a maker chart. If I don't, we're going to do a fresh one. We'll make it work, guys. One that I do want to show you guys is Compound. So again, now that we're talking shit coins, if you recall, we've been looking at Compound in 61.85 for weeks now. If you break this level, there's really nothing between you and this area here. So if anyone's looking to trade like the low cap stuff, this is where I'm going. You got to hold this level of support, but if you do, probably heading somewhere between $90 and like $100 right away. Like there's really nothing up here. I mean, you want to keep track of probably this zone right here because you can see that you got like a daily level at 87. So like 87 to $100. But that's a good trade, man. It's a very good trade. I don't know why that one popped into my head, but it did. I think I saw the ticker and I remembered that was a setup that I'd been kind of like monitoring slowly. over time. I don't think I have a maker chart, so I don't know what the best chart is going to be for maker, but we'll find out real quick. Usually it's going to be Binance, but Bitfinex might actually offer up something. I think Bitfinex probably has pretty good history on this one. Let's see what it's got on the yearly chart. Look at that. We've got years and years of data. I like that. All the way back to 2018. We can work with this. This thing is at all-time lows. Let's have some fun. So we're going to mark out these yearly settle-ups right here. First video in the academy. Well, second technically. And then we have this nice SFP. We're going to make it a dashed line or a dotted line, excuse me. And one thing I want to do straight away is actually mark out some highs. When did is this January 18? When did it really start? When did the chart actually start? May. Okay. Starting in May of 18. What's the 6 month look like? That's the one I want. See how we have two highs here? This started in May, so this is technically 1 month's price action, but it shows as a 6 month candle. This right here is the next 6 months. So the true first 6 months of price action, that's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in this 1 month that where it started in May and was alive for like 2 weeks. I'm definitely interested in this candle though. And you can see right here, this has been good support and resistance. Like let's go down to a lower time frame now that we have it. And it's literally what we're hung up on right now. Super clean, very, very nice. Great, great level to have. That's a nice, nice level. I'm going to hang on to that one. Do you guys understand why I chose that over the one up here, right? Like, I just want to make sure that you guys are on the same page because like, these are things that over time, like you get with experience, but at the same time, like, you know, if you have questions to ask, that's why we're here. Tar Heel says goes back to 2017. Ooh, what chart is that? Yeah. Either way, I like this level. Whatever Bitfinex is doing with their chart, I'm a fan of this. And this 6 months right here is what I'm working off of for now. But if you have an older chart, like on a different exchange, just shill it in the chat and we can start on that one, which is fine by me as well. Because there's good data on this. This is a good chart. Like this is good to work off of. We can make this work. It's just if there's more data, we will, because we've definitely come to the lows. LRC, gotcha. Coinbase. I assumed Coinbase would be the first one, but how about that? We certainly do have it. There we go. I know I'm not marking or orating right now. I'm just looking at the chart. Kind of like the other one better, but that's okay. This is still good. This is still really clean. This is still a really good level. We can keep this level. Hmm. Really curious how that pans out. You are breaking a monthly downtrend. You've come up and back tested the last monthly highs here. You're coming up to the last monthly highs here. 899.31. It's gonna be your next key level to get above, realistically, at least in like the immediate short term. You obviously have this level here that is that 6-month SFP if we go all the way back in time, right? So if you crack 785, 899 is coming, which is a decent jump in price, in my opinion. You can look at it like so. It's like 13%. But this little window is going to be fairly important. I just don't like that level. I really don't like that level. Honestly, if you get through 785, 899 is coming, you could realistically just count this as the next open from Q3 2022 as well. But I would expect to come back up to these highs somewhere in this region right here, to be upfront with you guys. This is where supply is coming in. Okay. So you've got some very clear resistances here, like locally, to work off of between 785 and 899. Now, obviously, like a little daily level here. You break through this zone, this like 12% window, you're gonna gap this thing from 900 all the way up to like 1100 and challenge these local highs again. And then this becomes your range high, right? So this is now the range high. And the question will be if, is this going to be a new like pseudo range where you could like mark it off and say that this is support and resistance, or do we come back down to this area? Like you've got the opportunity here to do something like this potentially and hang out in here before going up, which you've done before right here. Like you can just see it right here, right? You see how you did that? You've got a very similar opportunity here where you make a lower low potentially, but that's so far out that you can't really predict for it. It's like it's a very forward-looking thing to understand that you never came down back to this support, and you kind of expect to. You don't have to make those moves. Yeah, so for me, I would stick with these levels here. This box up here, just so you guys know, hangs out around 1162 to 1223. And realistically, I think there's probably a pullback before then, but it doesn't mean it's a trend ender. It just depends on what's going on with the market. Because you guys know I'm still cautiously looking for upside on Bitcoin until proven otherwise, right? We're pressing up against macro resistance at 24/7. We're looking for higher prices, which would preclude good things for altcoins over time. No matter what the altcoins, if I call it a shit coin, it doesn't matter. It's good for them too. And they'll probably run harder. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't, I'm not going to leverage trade this, to be honest with you. I would just be cautious as you are coming up into resistance here. So if you're in the position already, it's not a bad place to lock in like a take profit one, maybe even a, just like make sure you're getting paid. But realistically, I think over time that your destination is this blue box here. And then from there, we play the game of, okay, is this a larger consolidation, or is it, how mature is it? What kind of price action are we going to get up here when we get that, assuming we get that? However, if you break down like out of this trend line here, which I'm not a trend line guy, but it's easy to kind of like illustrate what we're looking for here in terms of breaking down. You're just targeting the lows of the structure. Again, this always comes back to horizontals, in my opinion. We just say like right here, we can just take our lows and just say, if we break down from our trend line, more than probably we're coming back down to the low of the structure. And if this low of the structure is broken, the yearly open is really what's between you and more downside, right? You can see right here, we could just map this off, the yearly open, and here, maybe we can. There we go. So now we've got boxes, because you guys know how we feel about boxes on this channel. We like them. Essentially, support, if it breaks, I'm trading it down to support, right? Very, very simple. However, if we can start breaking through this, you could get a very fast move up like you did here into resistance. And this is a de-risking place. This is not a place that I'm willing to be buying into, only willing to take profit. May even consider selling into it if, the shorting opportunity is there. That's where I'd be interested in that. Otherwise, you have local range here to trade between. This box comes in 616 to 629. So, yeah. Very, very interesting chart. Good demand, though, on the weekly. Good wicks. People are trying to buy this up for sure. Buy it up for a nice impulse, right? Realistically, though, you got to break out of this box. Like, look at it. If you don't break out of this box, what are you doing? So, like, let's see why this box is important. Daily. There you go. There's your demand, up you go. Back to it right here. Support, resistance, down. Still resistance. So you've got to break out of this box to make a higher high, at least locally. And then we can start talking about like 1741, et cetera, et cetera. But that's how I would look at that. Support and resistance, very easy way to do this one, and go from there. I don't know, Nicholas Darvas box. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't know who Nicholas Darvas is, but all right. Let's look at LRC. I think that's one we were talking about. Did you say it was Coinbase, Tar Heel? Oh, you want Loopring. Dude, one of my buddies makes a bank on Loopring. He trades the shit. John, JC. It's one of the videos I talk about JC. Dude chads it in the altcoins. Again, like I said, different strokes for different folks, But he likes Loopring. He definitely trades this one, which more power to him, man. You effectively swung failure high here, almost on the weekly or the monthly, excuse me. You definitely did on the quarterly though, so we're going to mark that. It will be relevant. I should probably label these, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be honest with you guys. These are things I'm never going to actually trade, so we'll look at them for sure though. $23 open. We've got a yearly up here. This reminds me of Ada's chart. It's got that weird like 2018, 2019 high that comes in right here in like obscurity. Oh boy. Sorry, I am tired. It's been a long day. Good for trading though. It's been really good trading for Bitcoin. Caught some good shorts. Didn't catch the long off the previous week high, but did catch some good shorts, so that was always good. Nothing I'm in love with here. Actually, I do want to know something. I want to know you. 214.57. $94.79. That level is going to be important. And look at that. There's a nice little wick here on the 6 month. Let's see what we've got. Yep. Oh, that'd be dirty. 249 would be dirty, but that's not happening for a long time, guys. Let's not get our hopes up. Oi. Yeah, I mean, it's bouncing from demand right here. Like, so first of all, like when you're looking at something like a 3 month chart, let's go to log for this and we'll get rid of this fib for now. You see how you have closures here and then wicks. So you can see that demand is coming in here. This is a clear, all right, I should be looking at this as a region of support. And they front run it a little bit for these lows, which makes me think that you might make a new low still. But it doesn't have to. You extend this to the right, you can see it even more prevalently on the high time frames, right? So it doesn't have to make a new low. You are coming up into resistance according to the 3 month on the highs here. It does look like you've run into an old monthly SFP here. Yeah, so 47.8 cents, where you're going to want to see claimed. You could pretty much box this area off right here. This is resistance. It's very obvious. There we go. And support gets back above it. Now it's resistance. Needs to get above. Gets above this level. I'm actually looking for 94 cents. So I'm looking for it to double. And I would box this off right here. Like so. Just because you want to have that monthly high. Let's go to the weekly. Make sure we're not missing anything. Resistance. Beautiful. We have a nice weekly level here into the 6M2. Maybe one potentially above it. Could very well happen. Do we have anything else we should be aware of? Honestly, no. You've got a range here. I think you will get potentially rejected here. However, if you claim this box, I do think your next pit stop, barring any type of a swing failure pattern, is going to be up here over time. I'm not saying it's going there right away, but this has been a good area before. Where's this wick coming at? Nice. Even nicer. I like it. In terms of upside, I think it's pretty prevalent that you're going to want to hang on to these lows, right? Like, we're not doing anything special here. We're not reinventing the wheel. This is very, very common. I don't do a lot of volume work on these guys. It takes a lot of time for me to do the volume work that I want to do because I like to look at all the ranges. I do want to look at some quarters, though. We didn't leave anything behind, did we? Kind of thought we might have. I think I'm going to be incorrect on that one. We did. We left it behind on this one, but it's already filled. Definitely couldn't have left anything behind there. So yeah, I think that you don't necessarily have to come back on this one. Part of me thinks you will, just because of where it's sitting, but I've been wrong before. So I'd be watching this box and this local market structure. If broken, you've got some other local market structure here down below the range, right? However, these lows have not been taken in a long time. I would imagine you'd come back down to the lows of the move overall, be looking for somewhere in this like 2023 open region, which is like 18 to 20 cents, give or take. So gonna want to hang on to this specifically. Not a bad looking chart though. Nice V-shaped recovery. The question is how V-shaped can it be? It could potentially push all the way back up here. I don't know where the yearly pivot is on this one. I would be curious. It's below us, and it is untapped. That's not a good sign. Yeah, so I would imagine, again, resistance is where we're at, guys. Name of the game. At some point, we're probably coming back down into this region of the chart, and we probably will break this low and challenge into the val, and we'll see what we get. Let's see what last year's look like. Oh, that's the monthly. I'm sorry. That was the yearly. Yearly is above. Okay, yeah, no, perfect. That lines up more. That makes more sense now. I was like looking at it, I was like, what? Yeah, no, yearly is up here. So yeah, you're at resistance. I do think it's possible to get a rejection here and a higher low. Again, want to see this holding. If not, your monthly pivot is going to be the dead giveaway below, right? Probably go through the monthly pivot if we're being honest with ourselves, unless you get a swing failure pattern. But personally, broader targets, like if I got a really good entry on Loopring, oh yeah, the monthly pivot's backed up by the quarterly. Yeah, this is gonna offer up at least a trade. But if it doesn't, I'm telling you, those lows are coming. This very well could be a nice trade. Like if you get above this level, you have to break above. You have to see Bitcoin doing good things, or at least going sideways and like the dominance coming down a little bit, money shifting into altcoins. This has the potential to make a nice run, and this is going to be a nice gap to fill out in between like 84 and 94 cents. That's what I'd be looking at. Good shout on Loopring. That's not a bad looking chart, honestly. So when you say this right here, so you're talking about the tick size or the row size, I'm sorry. Yeah, my row size at 222. Yeah, I do. So all you're doing is you're looking for more detail. So like if I go to 22 from 222, now you can see that price action is more fit into these. It's definitely better to have it like this. You get more detail. You can see better high volume nodes. Some people have it higher than me actually, but yeah, I use 222. So but in terms of volume profile, DYOFR, you'll see a lot of people using it. I've seen some creators, and I'm not going to name any names. There is a guy in the chat that already put that guy's name in there basically with his emoji, but he didn't start using that until he saw me on a show using it with him. And it cracks me up watching him use the VPVR when you should be using fixed range and calculating statistics based on time. There's a big difference, trust me. So yeah, it is what it is. It's not to start a creator war, but it's one of those things where I don't know. I look across the space sometimes. I'm just like, fuck, dude. Anyone can do this. Like anyone can get a YouTube channel and do this. Apparently, it really diminishes the work that you can actually do. These are pretty half-hearted chart analysis, to be honest with you. Like we're not actually diving into the chart. These are just me looking at chart and saying, this is what I think. And we'll see what happens. The last one I will do is Link, only because Link is one of my babies. Everybody knows that I'm a big Link guy. I got into Link sub $1 back in the day, so like for me, Link has always been kind of like a soft spot. That was like one of my best performing bags outside of Ethereum in the last run up. So big fan of Link. Link has been in a sideways range, and you just have not done anything of consequence. Now, for me on Link, did we fill this out? Yeah, at least we did that. For me on Link, I'm more so concerned about this larger range right here, this old 2020 range. And you've got your local range, which is filling out to be 7 months long. So when this range does expand, it's going to expand probably whichever direction it's heading. Like it's not going to be a fake out more than likely at this point. The keys for that are you've got the volume profile here, right? We have our fixed range. However, you can see straight away that you're at the EQ of your old range, right? You can see the high volume node beneath you here, the 2020 range. You're bouncing off of the equilibrium now that you've found acceptance back into that area, and it's now resistance and support. And so essentially, if $9.30, which is also your merged value area low, if you considered all data included on ATAS, which is just another platform to track volume and time, is 930, if I recall. I have to go to USDT for that because they didn't have the USD pairing, but they did have the USDT pairing. So we can look at that in a second. If we break through this, I'm looking for a pretty good run. I'm looking for price again to basically double. However, if we start losing this like $5.50 region, you know, that was initially a target. $5 to $7 was one of those things we talked about. It could happen. 930 was supposed to be very good support. It cut right through it like a knife, straight to $5, right? But just because something wasn't support on the way down doesn't mean it won't be resistance on the way up. We've talked about this several times with other coins. You have to get through $9.30. You have to get through this old range. If you remain range bound in here and you continue to, the odds of you coming to this POC are they're higher than not. So that would put you at a position of $3.82. Now, if we're breaking out of our volume profile range right here, this is going to be an early indication of a new challenge of what 930. So we're waiting to see if we can get back above this like $7 like 85 cent region, trend above the value area high of our range. And if so, we're looking to take this to $9.30. And at that time, this would be the fourth test of that resistance. So for me, if I was trading this and I was, you know, looking for longs, and I was already long going into it, I'd probably maybe lock in like 10% of my position. However, I would begin looking for, you know, higher prices potentially to break this range. Now, context will be key in what the market's doing at that time, and we still have to get out of this area of the chart, right? And the only other thing you have to be aware of is you've got these local highs, and they're all pretty equal, meaning that you got to be on the watch out for a swing fail of these highs, meaning you've come up, you take all the highs this time, and then you come down and just slam it. Like that can still happen. I don't think that would be the case. However, anything can happen in trading. So again, you have to be prepared that if that scenario starts to play out, that you're ready to either A, cut your position, or B, let it hit your stop loss, right? That's just how I would see it. So limitation is the best form of flattery, but at least do it correctly. He doesn't do everything incorrectly, but yeah, no, there's definitely a few out there. Link sub dollar, that's a long time ago, brother. Like, or a lot. I don't know if you're a guy or girl, but a long time ago. We're talking like COVID crash 2020. Yeah, it very well could go down there, Tar Heel. Like you got to understand, like very, very well could or go up there. You never know. Very well could. In terms of time on this is one that I'm pretty proud of. I actually timed this out, and I put it on my Twitter. I timed out the high on Link and for the whole cycle. So these are all time pivots. You can see that they all coincide with major highs or lows, basically. And down here into our range, and I'm waiting for the 1-to-1 coming in July of this year. So it's a very interesting time for me in July of this year on this asset. But yeah, that's Link. I mean, Link is Link is boring. You've got a really, really nice tight range here. I think the next break of it, we know what we're getting. You break the range to the low, you're going to challenge $5. You break the range to the high, you're going to challenge 930. Eventually, something has to give, and I think we're at that point where we've put in enough market structure that if we can break this to the upside, I'm buying Link. Obviously, I bought Link. I'm invested in Link, so I think that we'll get the appreciation. However, I am fully prepared for the opposite scenario, and I have my targets lined out that if this does break to the downside, that also means Bitcoin's probably nuking. Again, traditional markets are probably not looking great. Looking for 382 and then maybe even down to $1.17, which to your point, you said sub dollar. Wow, that's a dub. Your chances are coming potentially. And even if they aren't coming, you've had chances at $5, which is still really good. So he goes, yeah, I'm a brother. Yeah. That's cool though. You got in about a year ago, 2022. Man, you got in about when I got in 2016 and 17, and then I didn't really start trading it until 2018, and then about 2019, it took me a while, but mid 2019, I finally turned profitable and was able to do my thing. And then in 2020, I quit my job, and this is what I've been doing ever since. And it's been good, but yeah, coming in a bear market is actually really good in my opinion, because you don't get this kind of experience or to see this type of drawdown or like assets like this react the way they are unless you've been through it. Like you can go back to the chart and you can look at it and you can be like, oh, that makes sense. But until you're actually like live in the time and like trading the asset or, investing your time into it, it's tough. It's tough to take that and make it transferable to the chart and to your trades. So, I'm glad you got a bag, man. Link. I'm a big Link guy. I like Link. And it's kind of like Dot for me. Like when Link and Dot hit these targets, I was buying quite a bit. QNT was one that I bought. I don't really believe in the QNT like tokenomics and stuff where people are like, oh, it's going to go to like thousands of dollars. But I do believe in buying at times where it makes sense. And that chart just was like screaming that was the buy zone. So went ahead and pulled the trigger, right? So that said, guys, I am going to hop off here. Sorry for the impromptu-ness to it, so to speak. It was very off the cuff and a little bit on the brash side of things at times, but sometimes a little tough love's okay. We did look at some coins that I haven't looked at in a while, so thank you. And even some coins that I've never looked at before, which is also okay as well. Just caught me on a rough day. Profitable, do you consider that when the majority or so you can have a pretty high win rate and still not make money, believe it or not, because you don't have any risk management. But what I mean by profitable would be consistently returning profits, like not just day over day, but like month over month, quarter over quarter. By the end of 2019 going into 2020, and I was working at a job where I was making over six figures. I was making more money trading consistently than I was working, and it made more sense to trade. And I had money saved up at that time from both trading and working. So I was like, okay, I have, several years worth of bills. If I want to, I can live off of this money and not have to worry, even though it doesn't sound ideal, but it gave me that cushion and that safety net of going, okay, if I don't make $1,000 next week, I can still pay my bills, so it allowed me to trade without that pressure and emotion. That's really important to get to, because a lot of people want to do this and they start trying to kind of like run before they're walking. And, they probably have a lot of talent. Even it's just one of those things where you have to really sit down and make sure that the pieces line up. It's not as easy as it looks, but it's also not as hard as it sounds. Like it's a really weird case of, being both easier and harder than you think. You just have to mesh it and make it work, but also take your time, because it really does take people years a lot of times to become profitable because of the risk management portion. So for me, it was just when I'm losing trades now, I'm not losing much. My drawdown is pretty minimal. But when I'm winning trades, I'm doing it consistently and I'm bringing those home. Hey, Alado, yeah, go Chiefs. Let's go. MV Pat. Yeah, buddy. Heck of a parade. Yeah, so what I would do, Richard, is if that's the case, like, set aside some money into an account that you're comfortable with. Some people just do $100 and try to turn it into, $120. And I know that sounds really stupid because it's only 20%. And in crypto, we're so used to like much larger moves. But if we're talking about like actually trading for a living, 20% on an account is a lot. And that's, kind of like when I said, I'm still short from 40 plus K or 40K. The reason being is that's protecting my capital against drawdown. And even if I close it now instead of like I could have earlier at a much larger potential profit, I'm still going to beat most people's market average by multiples by doing so in that one trade. So it's not worth it to be greedy. It's more worth it to be correct and secure in my finances. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, definitely, dude. Keep going. That's all there's to it. Like small amounts of money, try to learn, make sure that you've got hundreds of trades under your belt that are all documented so that you can actually see what your statistics are. Is this realistic? And then build up slowly. Don't just jump in and be like, all right, I traded $100 account to $200. I'm ready to throw in like, $10,000. Like it's not a good idea. You're going to have a hard time with that. So, yeah, you want to be profitable for a while, and then I would stair step it up. I know that you're talking about like more money, but like stair step it up. Make sure that you have your goal of like I would love an account size of this. Maybe put in some increments in between and work your way up, because the difference is when you start trading with more money, the hard part is the emotion. You feel that. So, like I said, everything is in increments. Gauge your results, track everything. It's just like working out. Like if you're not tracking your progress, it makes it exponentially harder. And it's the same with like finances. Like anyone knows that if you want to be successful in terms of like a budget, you have to track things, right? You track those things. What do companies do? They track everything. You should be treating trading the same way if it's a goal of yours to be successful long-term and consistent in terms of like an everyday trader. You have to do those things. Otherwise, you're kind of like, spinning your wheels a lot of times. But either way, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic weekend. Do me a favor, doing pattern trading, but I was thinking there's a limited pattern trading. The way you guys trade is, yeah. So I started as a pattern trader, to be honest with you, Alado. I really did. I think we all kind of start there, trend lines, patterns, like simple things. And then we work our way to, other techniques, and it just has to fit your trading style, because there's some people that make pattern trading work. It's just not something that I necessarily do anymore. Doesn't mean it's not valid. It just means that I prefer to trade a different way. And I shouldn't demean anyone that's doing it that way, but occasionally, we make the jokes. It is what it is. Either way, guys, like I was saying, enjoy the weekend. Do me a favor, spend time with friends and family, do things outside of crypto. Or if you're not going to do something outside of crypto and you're going to be at your computer all day, pick up a book. You can hit me up in the chat. I'll send you one, or watch a YouTube video or an educational video and enrich yourself a little bit. But relax, enjoy the weekend. I'm going to watch the rest of this bare knuckle fight pay-per-view that I bought, because I want to see Diego Sanchez probably get knocked out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right.